everyone, welcome to the next session of Strength of Materials. In this session, we are discussing about the shafts in series and parallel. We will start with the first type, that is shafts in series. When two or more shafts are connected so as to remain continuous lengthwise, they are said to be in series. You can see here, this is one shaft and this is the other shaft. These two are continuously placed side by side. So they are called as shafts in series. Now there are various types of shafts in series possible. There are four cases that we are going to discuss. I'll start with the first case. Two-stepped shaft with one end fixed and torque T applied at the other end. If you look at the diagram here, this is my shaft 1. Here this end is fixed. This is my shaft 2. They both are in series, and at the other end you can see there is a torque T applied over here. The length of the first shaft is L1 and the length of the second shaft is L2. The diameter was for the first one will be D1, for the second one it will be D2. Let me say the modulus of rigidity for the first one is G1 and for the second is G2. The different value of G1 and G2 here indicate that both the shaft are made up of different type of material. It could be say steel and aluminium, steel and copper, something of that sort, but this is not two same material here. That is something which is to be noted. Now after going through this, we are going to first draw the FBD for this given diagram. Drawing FBD is very simple. This is my first shaft. And this is the second one. In FBD, what we do is we necessarily remove the fixed hinge roller and we are going to replace them with their reaction. In this case, when we have fixed here, I am going to remove the fixed and draw a torque, because at the other end I can see some torque T being applied. Let me say that this torque is clockwise. So the torque on this end is going to be of anti-clockwise type. So I'll write here counterclockwise. This is A, B and C end of the shaft. This is my first shaft, second shaft. The length of the first one is given as L1. For the second one it is given as L2. Diameter is D1 and G1 is another material property that I know. D2 and G2. These are the properties known to me. Now I want to write down certain equations so that if I have a numerical of this sort wherein I have a shaft whose one end is fixed and on the other end I have some torque applied, I can calculate the torque that is exerted on the body if required. I can also calculate the angle of twist in the body and the shear stress that is generated in the body. The value of torque will be given to me. So the two things that I can calculate is twist and maximum shear stress. So we will see for certain applicable equations for this case. The first equation that I am going to write is this torque T that I have applied here. Let me say that this torque is TA because it is applied at the end A. It is a resisting torque to the torque T being applied on the body. So this is generated by the material as a resistance to this torque which is applied on the body. So I can say that this TA which is resisted is going to be equal to T. I can write that the torque is constant throughout. The second equation that I can find out over here is about the twist. Now, if you observe carefully, this entire shaft A to C will be subjected to certain amount of twist, which will be the twist in this portion AB plus the twist in this portion B to C. So I can write down theta for A to C for the entire shaft will be theta for A to B plus theta in B to C portion. Now we know this equation T by J is equal to G theta by L. So suppose if I want to find theta, it will be TL upon Gj. So when I substitute here, this will be for the first portion T L1 upon G1 and J1. J is calculated as pi by 32 d raised to 4. Since the diameter is different for both the shafts, I have to write it as J1 and J2. And for the second one, I'll write T L2 upon G2 J2. If required, I can take this value of T common, and this is L1 upon G1 J1 plus L2 upon G2 J2. Now, third, we are going to talk about the maximum shear stress that occurs on this body. First, we'll talk about the shear stress acting on the shaft 1. Now, let's recollect the equation. T by J is tau upon R. So, when I talk about tau, it is going to be TR upon J. Now, this can also be written as T into R as D by 2 and J as pi by 32 d raised to 4. So when I solve this, this 2 and 32 gets cancelled. It is 16 which goes to the numerator, T upon pi d cube. This d and d raised to 4 gets cancelled. So this is the formula of tau that I can use. So here if I write the formula, it is 16 T upon pi d1 cube for the first shaft, and maximum shear stress for the second shaft will be 16 T. Now I'm writing T again and again because TA is equal to T. Whatever torque you apply at the end A, it is going to be resisted. So it is pi d2 cube. Now let's observe certain thing here, that diameter d2 is less than the diameter d1. So when I look here, d1 is greater, so tau max as a whole value will be less than tau max 2. So I can write here that the maximum shear stress in the second shaft, or the shaft which has lesser diameter, will always be more than the shear stress in the shaft which has greater diameter. So these are certain equations that can be used. Now next let's go to the case 2. Two-step shaft with one end fixed. You can see here one end is fixed, and torque T1 and T2 applied at the junction. So here at junction B, torque T1 is applied, and at junction C, torque T2 is applied. The length is L1, L2 respectively, and G1, G2 are the modulus of rigidity respectively. D1, D2 are the diameters respectively for shaft 1 and 2. So again I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove the fixed and draw a resisting torque. So this is my shaft 1, this is my shaft 2. At junction B, there is a torque T1, let me say it is clockwise. At junction C, again there is a torque T2, let me say this is also clockwise. So at junction A, I will obviously have to draw the resisting torque T A, which is say in anti-clockwise direction. The length here is L1, G1 is the property D1, L2, G2, D2 are the properties in the second shaft. Now let's write the applicable equation for this kind of a shaft. In the previous case also we did the same thing. This torque TA will be equal to T1 plus T2. If you observe, I am using summation of torque over the entire body is equal to 0. So that is how I get this equation. That is, the torque over the entire body remains constant. Next, I will talk about theta. When I talk about theta for A to C portion, it will be theta from A to B and then theta from B to C. The formula remains the same. So it is TA for the first shaft over here. It is TA L upon GJ, and for the second one I can either write it as T2 or I can write that TA is T1 plus T2. So for the second one, I can write it as T2 L2 upon G2 J2. This T2, from here if you observe, T2 can also be written as TA minus T. So either you write here T2 or you can write TA minus T. You can observe here on this shaft, second one, T2 is the torque exerted. On the other end, it will be TA minus T. For the first shaft, TA is very much visible on one end. Now the torque on both the sides of the shaft cannot be different. So obviously this is TA. So this side will be T1 plus T2. When I talk about the second shaft, one end has T2. So the other end will be TA minus T1, as you can see from the equation. So you can write either one of the two equations for this value of torque. And third equation that we are supposed to write is again tau max 1 will be 16 Ta upon pi d1 cube, and for the second one tau max 2 it will be 16 T2 upon pi d2 cube. Instead of T2 you can also write Ta minus T1, and instead of Ta here you can also write this as T1 plus T2. So either one of the two values can be substituted for torque. It is obviously going to be the same number. Here again you can see tau max 2 will be greater than tau max 1 because D1 is greater than D2. Next, let's go to the case 3. Three-step shaft with one end fixed and torque T applied at the free end. So here you can see this is fixed end and here the torque T is being applied. Now when you resolve this, you can draw the FBD. At end D, the torque is T, say this is clockwise. So at end A, where there will be a resisting torque TA, it will be counterclockwise. This is shaft 1, 2, 3, L1, G1, D1 are the values, L2, G2, D2, and here it is L3, G3 and D3. This is junction B and C. Now let's see the applicable equation for this case. The first equation that is going to be is TA is equal to T, because we know torque is constant throughout. Second equation that I am going to write is very important in this case. Just observe, the shaft is now from A to D. So the total twist will be from A to B plus twist in B to C plus twist in C to D. So I can write down theta A to D is theta A to B plus theta B to C plus theta C to D. Theta will be TL upon Gj. For the first one, it will be L1, G1, J1. This is L2, G2, J2. And for the third case, it will be L3, G3, J3. And for maximum shear stress, by now you know it, it is 16T upon pi d1 cube. For the second shaft, it is going to be 16T upon pi d2 cube. And for the third one, it will be 16T upon pi d3 cube. Now if you observe here, third diameter is the smallest. So I can say very confidently that tau max 3 will be greater than tau max 2 will be greater than tau max 1 for this case. Next we'll go for the last case for shafts in series. Three-step shaft with one end fixed and torque T1, T2, T3 applied at the junction. So I will again draw the FBD. At junction D, the torque is T3. Say this is clockwise. At junction C, say the torque is T2. This is also clockwise. At junction B, the torque given T1 is say counterclockwise. At junction A, I will assume the torque to be counterclockwise, TA. It depends on the total value, summation. Whatever value you obtain, you can accordingly adjust this sign. So here I am just assuming that it is counterclockwise. This is shaft 1, 2 and 3. The parameters are L1, G1, D1. L2, G2, D2, and here it is L3, G3, T3. Now let's see the applicable equation for this case. The first equation that I'm going to use is summation of torque is 0. Now TA and T1 are in anti-clockwise direction, so let me take them as positive, and T2 and T3 are in clockwise direction, so let me take them as negative. So here I'll have minus T2 minus T3 is equal to 0. So you can observe here TA plus T1 will be equal to T2 plus T3. These two shift on the other side. So this is one of the equation that can be used to calculate any unknown value. Next equation that I'm going to use is for theta. This equation by now is very much known to you. Theta A to D from the start to this end will be theta for A to B portion plus theta for B to C portion and theta for C to D portion. Now, when I talk about the first shaft, you can see on one end the torque is TA. So on the other end, I can calculate the value by using this equation. TA will be T2 plus T3 minus T1. So this is one equation that I can use here. So I can either write TA, the formula is T L1 upon G1 J1, or I can write this equation as T2 plus T3 minus T1 into L1 upon G1 J1. So either of the two equations can be used. When I talk about the second shaft here, on one end I can see it is TA and T1 which are acting anti-clockwise. So they are going to be added together. And on the other side it is T2 and T3 which is acting on this junction C for this middle portion B to C portion. So I can say either it is TA plus T1, or I can say, like here it is written, it is T2 plus T3. So for the middle shaft the formula is TA plus T1 into L2 upon G2 J2, or you can use T2 plus T3 into L2 upon G2 J2. For the third part of the shaft C to D, on one side I can see T3 as the value. So the rest of the values I can calculate from here, this equation. I can either take T3 L3 upon G3 J3, or from this equation here I can say therefore T3 is equal to TA plus T1 minus T2. So I'll write here TA plus T1 minus T2. If I don't want to see the equation, I just want to see the diagram and calculate, then also it is very much possible. If I'm standing at this junction C and I observe this TA, it is going counterclockwise. Let me take counterclockwise as positive. So it is TA. T1 is also going counterclockwise. Say it is positive. So I'll have TA plus T1. And this T2, which is acting directly on this junction C, it is clockwise. So it will be TA plus T1 minus T2. Now you must be wondering how I'm thinking about this value of torque standing here. It is by using the principle of superposition, which we have already used for forces. When I can pick up a force and assume its effect over here at this junction as tensile or compressive. If you can recollect from the lectures of simple stresses and strain chapter, obviously we can do the same thing for torque. That is, standing at this junction, I can assume that this torque will have some effect on this junction. So this is one formula. And last formula that is very much known to you is of tau max 1, that is 16. Again you can use the torque value from here, this value TA or this value. I'm writing TA for the first one upon pi d1 cube. For the second one, tau max 2, let me take it as 16 TA plus T1 upon pi d2 cube. And for the third one, tau max 3, say I'm using this T3, 16 T3 upon pi d3 cube. If you want, you can use this equation instead of T3 as well. So next we will go for shafts in parallel. When one shaft is enclosed in another shaft, you can see here, this is my shaft 1, which is enclosed in shaft 2, which is outside. The two shafts are said to be in parallel. When shafts are in parallel, the torque T is shared by both shafts and the angle of twist in each shaft is the same. So it is already written here what are the equations possible. So I'll write the first equation, that is this torque T will be T1 plus T2, where T1 is the torque resisted by the shaft 1 and T2 is the torque resisted by shaft 2. So this is how you calculate torque. Next equation that we are going to write is for theta. For this case of parallel shaft, theta, that is the total twist, will be equal for both the shafts. So here it will be theta 1 equal to theta 2, where theta 1 is the angle of twist in shaft 1 and theta 2 is the angle of twist in shaft 2. And calculating theta is very simple. It is TL upon Gj. So theta 1 will be T1 L1 upon G1 J1 and theta 2 will be T2 L2 upon G2 J2. Now here you can observe that this value of L will actually be equal for both of them. And last thing that I'm going to calculate, third one, is the shear stress for shaft 1. Tau max will be T1R upon J1. This is the formula. Tau is TR upon J. And for shaft 2, tau max will be T2 capital R upon J2. Now that is by using this diagram. For the first shaft, radius is small r, and for the second one, radius is capital R. So accordingly, you can just substitute. So with this, I end the session on shafts in series and parallel. I hope you have understood the session. If you have any doubts, please write to me in the comment section. In the next session, we will start with the numericals on this topic. See you in the next session. Thank you.